Welcome home to St. Anne's.
Yet another Sunday where I get to make you feel nervous.
We want you to know that you're welcome to join us.
At this point, you guys are just used to it, aren't you?
Please be sure to hit subscribe to
like,
receive our
whatever.
sermons. We can't wait to meet you.
All right. So today is often known as Transfiguration Sunday. It's also the last Sunday before Lent begins. Lent begins this week. And so it's this moment. And I want to talk a little bit about this event that happens on the mountain because I think it matters a lot for us and for how we live as Christians. So it goes something like this. And many of you know my love for Peter. Because Peter and I both have this guilty problem of talking when you probably should just shut up. Peter's always talking. But it's this profound moment where Jesus is made apparent that Jesus is the Christ. And I know I've talked a little bit about how Jesus is the Christ, but the Christ is not always Jesus. Okay? So the Christ is eternal. Jesus is a specific person in a time and place. And up until this moment, Jesus has been teaching and saying all these things, but even the disciples haven't truly grasped the intensity that is Jesus, right? They haven't fully grasped that Jesus is the Christ, that Jesus is this divine being. And so Jesus hand selects a group of people and takes them up to the mountain to pray. And while he's there, he interacts with Elisha and Moses. Now, this is important, okay? Because in this, you will notice that Elisha and Moses defer to Jesus, okay? This is really, really important because they are representatives of things in the Old Testament. Elisha is representative of the prophecies, the prophets. The prophets defer to Jesus. Moses is a representative of the law. So all the Old Testament law and all that stuff that has been handed to the Israelite people. Moses, the law, defers to Jesus. So this is an image of the Christ being the fullness of everything that has been proclaimed up until now, okay? So that's important theologically. There's a theological piece to this. That is trying to be made clear to you in the Gospels, that the prophecies in Moses stand on their own, okay? They do stand alone. This is not the Jews are wrong kind of thing. They are standalone things. But for us as Christians, Jesus fulfills that and makes that all into one being. Does that make sense at all? And how that is a powerful moment for the disciples to see this. Because remember, they are Israelites. They've been trained in Judaism. Jesus is a Jew. Okay. There's no Christianity yet. So this is a powerful moment for these men. And Peter, because Peter can't shut up, Peter's like, hey, let's build little things, to like remember this. Let's build little monuments and we'll stay here. And these really cool little monuments. And God is like, what? No, we're not building little shrines. That's not what this is about. But for us as humans, isn't that what we do? Right? Like, we're like, oh, this really cool thing happened. Let's put up a shrine. Let's put up a statue. Let's pile some rocks together and make a little monument of it. Now, don't worry, we're not going to change our lives impactfully much. We'll put a statue of a civil rights monument here, or Civil War, or World War II. Look at that. Didn't we do a cool thing back then? Good for us. Stack some rocks, put a little statue on there, and we'll go on with our lives. Completely unchanged. And God is like, what? No. Ew, what are you doing? No, the whole point of this is I let you see this so that you are changed. Not so that you, change the geography of the landscape or, stack some rocks together, but, so that you yourselves are changed. And we're like, oh, can't we just put up a monument? Monuments are nice. I can do a monument. I mean, I don't even have to necessarily notice it when I drive by it, maybe I'll go visit the monument once or twice in a lifetime and be like, hey, remember, look at that Vietnam Wall. Isn't it amazing the sacrifices that these people make? And then you move on. And you're like, where are we going to lunch? Right? Because, nobody really wants to be changed at all. Do you think Peter wants to be changed? Heck no. No. Do you want to be changed? Absolutely not. We've worked really, really hard to get to this comfort level, and we're good. And God is like, in God's most God way, shut up. And listen. Because that's what you and I need to hear. Because how often is it easy in our culture to be like, yeah, I'm a Christian. I'm down with this God thing because it's convenient, right? I mean, if you want to be just kind of a run-of-the-mill vanilla human in this world, you'd be like, yeah, I mean, I'm down with Jesus. Jesus seems nice. He's got some good stuff to say here and there. And we might even go to church a couple times a year. When family's in town and it's kind of fun and you, get the kids dressed up, because I want photographic evidence that I put my kids in a cute outfit and I'm like, hey, look, they are humanoid twice a year. And I have photographic evidence. And so that's kind of what we do, right? As a culture, we're like, hey, we'll go, we'll kind of do this thing, we'll acknowledge it, but is my life going to be impacted by it? Absolutely not. Not doing that. Here's the thing. When we see Jesus as the Christ, when things are completely transfigured around us, and we see it, and we hear God, we can't do anything else but be transformed ourselves. We are changed. We are different, and our lives in every single moment are completely different. The way that we see the world changes. The way that we see humanity changes. We can't leave that on the mountain because we are different. When we see Jesus and we get it, when we fully get it, because can we just be real for a second? Do you ever, do this whole Christian thing and you're like, I don't know. I mean, are you sure? In our culture, we're like, yeah, Jesus is fine, but really? Because if we really believe the stuff that we say we believe, have you looked at the stuff that we say that we believe? Have you? That's a huge thing to say. I acknowledge this and I believe these things. How can you go about your life the way that it was before? How can you live in this world in a secular way, not perceiving the divine in every single moment, in every single human, in every walk through God's creation. How can you not? You cannot interact with the Christ on the mountain and come down from the mountain unchanged. It's impossible. We are different because we interact with the divine. It's not enough to be like, oh yeah, that's kind of fun and nice, and I'll go there a couple times a year, and I might see the monuments every once in a while because monuments are nice. But I'm not really gonna live differently. We can't do anything but live differently when we see a transfigured Christ in our midst. So, as you and I begin this next stage, this next season in the church calendar, which is Lent, I want us to really be able to enter into that, to really begin to do the work to live differently. Because how do we do anything else? And I get that it's hard, right? Because there's so much pressure. As soon as we are not in church and surrounded by people who empower us and carry us and hold us in this really difficult life that we've committed to, it's really easy to get sucked back in. The system is made to keep you in it, okay? That is how systems exist. You are not meant to change this world. The world doesn't want to be changed. It ain't interested. It's worked really, really hard. Okay, the system is fine with the way that the system is. So it is difficult to change it. It is difficult to go out and proclaim the love that you and I believe in. It is easy to get sucked in. So this Lent, I encourage us all to find a practice that empowers us to continue to do that work even when we're not here. And it could look any way. It could be like finding a prayer partner that you meet for coffee and you guys do this or you talk about it. I know we're going to be doing a book study about, and in fact, I think there are copies out there. Are there still copies out there? The Purpose-Driven Life. I ordered mine on Amazon because, that's how I am. But I know some of us are going to do a book study. I had a parishioner once who in Lent, he would read all the Psalms. He committed to, during Lent, he would read the entire psalmody. But find something that is going to continue to feed you and empower you to do the work that you and I are called to do. Because it's not easy. It's so much easier to just build a little monument or be like, hey, wasn't it cool that happened? And then move on with our lives. But that's not what this is about. This is about when we come face to face with the divine, we ourselves are changed. We are different. We are transformed. We are transfigured. And when we are transformed, we're able to go out and transform a world that needs us desperately. Also, you want to be here on Tuesday because there are pancakes.
We want you to know that you're welcome to join us at 10 a.m. on Sundays. Please be sure to hit subscribe
really transform
to
your
receive
body.
We can't wait to meet you.
Maybe not transform it in the way that we're supposed to,